Elon Musk made an appearance at the rally as well. How'd that play out?
He did. That was a bit of a surprise. The vice president-elect J.D. Vance was on the schedule to speak. He did not speak, but Elon Musk was called up to the dais to speak for just a short period of time. And of course, he has been charged with the government efficiency, but his job is so much more than that. He's a lead advisor to the president. He was the only person brought on stage, aside from family members, during the speech. We're told that he'll have an office right here on the White House complex and grounds. One person not mentioned in depth was Vivek Ramaswamy. He, of course, was going to be his partner in this government efficiency project. He now is likely one of the first casualties on the Trump staffing list. He is not going to join the government. He instead is going to run for governor of Ohio in 2 years.
I should point out it's one of Elon Musk's sons. He's adorable. He showed up as well. Jeff Zeleny, thanks very much. Right. With me here, CNN political commentators and senior political commentators from across the partisan spectrum. Ashley Allison, David Urban, who've given some news today on the subject. We need to mention used to work for and consult for TikTok, but no longer does. Alyssa Farah-Griffin, David Axelrod, and CNN legal analyst Carrie Cordero, who's also a senior fellow at the Center for New American Security. I'm not sure how many of you go with TikTok, but David
all the cool kids do.
Oh, yeah. David Axelrod, I mean, regardless of party affiliation, what are your thoughts? How important is tomorrow?
Well, look, it's obviously a historic day. I think whatever you think about Donald Trump, you have to acknowledge this is probably the most astonishing comeback in American political history. I mean, when you think about how he left Washington 4 years ago.
Who would have thought 4 years ago when he left?
There's no way you could have imagined this set of circumstances. He left in disgrace. He's come back as kind of a conqueror. That's the feel of this. And I do think, there's a lot of discontent in the country, a hangover from the pandemic, inflation. And people really wanted to give this town an angioplasty. The question is, how will it reflect itself and how he executes on this? And will he actually deliver the kind of relief that people are looking for? Or will he just, hit the funny bone of the base on social issues while people's day-to-day lives don't change particularly? And that is going to be the challenge for Donald Trump.
Alyssa, what do you think the tone of his speech is going to be? I mean, it was American carnage the last time.
I think we could see something similar, but listen, Donald Trump is a TV producer in the back of his mind. Like, he cares about the orchestration tomorrow, what things look like, what these events around the inaugural are like. And I think he cares a lot about coming back as this person who's strong, who's empowered, who not only had the greatest comeback, he came back and won by a bigger majority than he had previously. So I think you're going to see this kind of show of strength throughout it. But what I'm really interested in are the actions after he's sworn in. He's somebody who doesn't want to wait. He really wants to have kind of a shock and awe strategy of taking so many actions at once. The Democrats, who honestly are kind of on their heels right now, don't have a clear leader, almost kind of breaks their spirit and their willingness to fight. So from immigration to energy and onward, I think you're going to see some major executive orders tomorrow, and that's by design. He wants people to say, I'm not Sleepy Joe. I've been working from the second I came into office.
David Urban, what are you expecting tomorrow in terms of executive orders?
Well, I mean, I think the president laid it out, and Stephen Miller previewed it today to some of the House and Senate leadership. I think we've talked about this earlier today. Immigration will be one of the biggies, right? That leads on securing the border, deporting a lot of bad people, right, who are here. There are criminal aliens here. We have 1,500,000, I think, who already have deportation orders. A couple other 100,000 convicted of rape and murders, and I think they'll go after those people first. I think that'll be kind of the first out of the block. I think the president will sign those at whatever time he's done and start signing. That'll be the first. And hours later, I think you'll see action, perhaps in Chicago and New York, from in a coordinated fashion to get people. You'll see people in zip ties getting put in buses by federal agents, so the American people can see some of that. And then other things, I think, will be on the economy, because David is exactly correct. The president ran on a lot of things. Say that again, David Axelrod's correct. People in America, they're tired of being woke and they're tired of being broke. So he can fix the woke part. The broke part, they want to see as well. We got to fix the broke part. So I think a lot of that's going to be focused on unleashing, energy reserves, tapping into liquid gold that's under our feet, those things which will reduce costs and shipping. Energy costs drive up tax is basically a tax on everything, is the way the Trump administration sees it. And they want to lower energy costs so that they drive down consumer prices, the people will benefit. That's the challenge for the administration, making people feel in their pocketbooks at home.
Ashley, what's the challenge for Democrats?
Well, I've heard a lot since the election that they don't feel the resistance to Donald Trump. Well, we're not the same country or same party we were 8 years ago. And so to approach this moment the same way, I think would lack strategy and would be disappointing. I think Democrats need to identify what their values are and who they're fighting for. And when Donald Trump does something that is misaligned with their values, they need to call it out and not take the knee and just say we should not say it. But I also don't think that they just need to be obstructionists, like so many Republicans were to our former boss, Barack Obama, like a Mitch McConnell, or when Donald Trump came in the first time. I think people want results, but I still think, based on the speech he just gave today, he will do things tomorrow that are not in alignment with our democratic values, and it gives an opportunity to draw a contrast. The retribution that he talked about, and Dems can seize on that.
Do you think the fact that there's not a, designated leader of the Democratic Party come tomorrow, that's a problem?
No, I think that's an opportunity, actually. We are at a point where our party is turning a page in a generation, so to speak. And we now have really 4 years for who will be leading our ticket. But we also have an opportunity in the midterms to say, who are these candidates? After the first presidential election, we had more women elected in the midterms of 2018 than really ever before. So there's an opportunity to really see this new wave of governors, of senators to come in and say, this is my vision for the party. We are in a party chair election right now. And so the fact that we don't have one clear leader is not a problem, but we do need to be clear on what we are fighting for and who we're fighting for.
I think one of the challenges for the Democratic Party is that the party, the self-styled and party of working people, has lost the support of a lot of working class people because it's become too much a party that is seen as a party of elites and a party defending institutions instead of reforming institutions. And so I think rather than just looking for an opportunity to outflank Trump, the party should look deeper and say, why is it that so many people are disaffected from institutions in this country? Why do they feel so negatively toward elites, which, by the way, Trump should worry about with Elon Musk out front. But they need to really investigate that and probe that and ask hard questions of themselves.
Terry, let's talk about TikTok. The president-elect touted TikTok coming back online. He also said he issued an executive order following the inauguration to delay enforcement of the law. Can he do that?
Well, he might. The implementation of this has really turned out to be quite a cluster. The law that was passed by Congress last spring was bipartisan and really doesn't provide any president, whether that was President Biden or President Trump, much flexibility for making changes to it. It said that either TikTok should be divested and sold to another company, or that potentially there could be some kind of deal that would take place, or it needs to go offline. And it doesn't provide really any specific provision in the law that says the president can change that outcome. Now, if he issues an order, what he will basically have to say is that the companies that are charged with implementing the law won't be fined, won't be enforced, because the fines that are in place in the law actually don't apply to TikTok. They apply to the companies that provide access to the app, the Apples and the Googles, as well as potentially the companies that are providing the service to it, so like an Oracle. So it's those companies that are on the hook. If I'm the general counsel of those companies, I do not like this situation right now where I've got a law passed by Congress, signed by a president telling me to do one thing, and potentially another president
he did tweet that out
issuing
yesterday.
an order.
He did tweet that out saying, we're going to give you a pass. That's what the tweet
He also
was,
indicated
that
he might be satisfied if there was 50% American ownership. And all I could think of was, boy, there are a whole lot of people who are going to be interested in sucking up to Trump and being those folks in that business. And this is one of it doesn't really solve the problem that people are concerned about, which is what the Chinese influence on the thing. But one of the questions is, when you talk about draining the swamp, if that drain drains into your pocket and the pockets of everyone around you, that's not exactly what people have in mind.
But on the flip side here, there are tens of millions of TikTok users in America. They skew much younger. A lot of people make their livelihood on it and the creator content. They now think that Donald Trump's saved their TikTok. These people were very concerned, and now he's going to get credit with a lot of
small businesses,
people who don't
small
follow.
businesses as well.
I think there's a split, though. I goes with the TikTok. That's what he said. Maybe to my own demise, but there is a split right now where people are saying, we feel like we're almost being tricked a little bit. It didn't need to go offline 3 hours earlier than it did last night, and they did it, and Joe Biden's still the president. So I think it's a skew. I do want to say, though, that there is a small business component of this. It goes back to an opportunity for the Democrats, though, is that Donald Trump is surrounding himself around billionaires and billionaires that might buy this app. And are they going to set an algorithm up to enable these creators to still do something, or do what like Elon did for X? And many people who used to make money off of X, who no longer can make a viable living off it, have now moved to TikTok. So do they bounce around from social platforms? It's uncharted territory for many reasons, but particularly because a lot of makers don't even understand it.